of our mind, which is logical, is there for a purpose. It has a purpose. And the purpose is to interact with the physical world. Make sure we don't die. You know, we need to sort out the way the physical world is, and that's where logic comes into play. Okay, so we've got systems and logic. The offspring of logic is systems a lot of the time, you could say. Especially in the Western world, all the things that we've come up with are the offspring of logic, because we're pounding away with logic. So the faculty of logic is for us to survive in the physical world without dying in a hurry, and to interact with the systems. And the faculty of emotion, the power of the mind, which is emotional, is to interact with spiritualism, which I've got on the other side. Okay, so it's something that comes. It's from our origins, much more emotional. And you could therefore say, I'll talk about this really quickly, but there is negative logic and there's negative emotion, because I think the first thing that people would say if you say emotion is our faculty of mind to interact with spiritualism. So first people say, what about anger? That's an emotion. What about hate? That's an emotion. But where does the anger and hate come from? It comes from us applying it to the physical world, interacting, responding, reacting to the physical world. And it might be something that's been programmed from a long time, from kind of a miseducation from the physical world, that's made us have these negative emotions. So it's basically, if you say, well, if you apply emotion as the forefront to how you deal with the physical world, it's going to be negative. You're going to have anger. You're going to have wanting. You're going to have a possessiveness and things like that. These emotions which are negative. The same way, if you put logic, and this is an important point, I believe, the same way as if you apply logic to spiritualism, you get things like superstition. You get things like dogma. You get things like religion. The way religion is looked after. I won't say religion in itself. The origins of religion are definitely not like that. But the purpose of religion is not like that. But dogmas behind religion, attachment to traditions, and superstition, I'd say, is where you applied logic to spiritualism. You know, if I do this a certain way, if I say this a certain way, then spiritualism, this is the way spiritualism will reward me or something. It's a bit of madness, really, and it's the same kind of madness as if you contain anger and hate within you. And something else I want to say about logic is that as far as I see, language within us resides in logic. It's something which we learn to interact with the physical world systems. So when you do come up with a thought which is broken up by language, it is something logical. So a good way to sort of, if you look at emotion in a more pure sense, you try to look behind your own language. You know, try to look behind the way you perceive something before you break it up intellectually by language. So it's something that the way that you just know things are before you can explain it. And that's another point. Our emotion goes way deeper than anything that language could grasp. So emotion interacts, the faculty of emotion interacts with spiritualism. Okay? We feel certain things. We know it because we feel it. Nobody needs to reinforce us of these things, because we feel it, we know it. That's what real knowing's about, and it comes from experience. perhaps experience accompanied with awareness, that these kind of things come up. So I've put the point where I've got this arc which shows spiritualism, and they touch on the emotional side, purely on the emotional side, if you look closely. So they touch on the emotional side, and they, in saying that they don't actually have a relationship, they interact. Okay? Okay, where's the... okay, so it's not communication. As you might say, between the mind and the physical world, there's communication of these faith, decision, emotion, education, appreciation. But there's not really a communication between spiritualism and the mind. There's an interaction. They're touching. And if you have enough awareness, if you really work at your awareness, you can sometimes feel it. Well, I would say for everybody, we have moments when we feel it, but definitely moments when we lose our brain as well. So between spiritualism and the mind, we have an interaction from spiritualism. And as we move on to the arc, I've made the arc is not rigid.